Welcome to another episode of The Dirty Negative. Welcome back, everyone. We are in for an absolute cracking show today. We've got Nick Carver on, and he's so entertaining. Forget photography or anything else. If it's a TV series, I'd probably be watching it.
It's an interesting. He's funny.
Yeah,
I like him. He's entertaining, and he produces nice work. We
can't knock his work, but
no, it's all right, I suppose.
Yeah. Don't tell him that.
No.
You give him too big a head, he'll go, yeah. Anyway, but you're in for a treat later. But anyway, what you been up to this week? You lost another bird, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah. That flew off over the top of a mountain. I thought it had died. I'll be honest. I honestly thought it had been eaten by another bird. I come home. I was having a bit of dinner, and then I was watching a film, and then a mate or a colleague of mine rang me at 9:15 at night from about 150 miles away and gone, "You ain't lost a bird, have you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have actually." Oh, it was seen sitting on someone's porch. At about 7:30. Anyway, what had happened, she'd flown over the top of this hill, which was about 600, 700 metres high, and the GPS on the leg had just gone. It lost all signal. I did the tracking. I couldn't get up the hill because of logistics and just terrible habitat, like bracken that was 8 foot high. I couldn't get up there. So And it never happened like that before, where the GPS has just died like that. Anyway, where she'd gone over the other side, they couldn't get a signal. They couldn't connect with each other. And so then I had to drive back out there, which was an hour away. I had to turn off the transmitter battery so that I could retain the battery power in this transmitter for the following morning. I drove back at 5 o'clock in the morning. She was sitting on top of a dairy farm. And I got her in the van within about 2 minutes, and then we went back to work again. Yeah,
fair play, mate. Well done. Yeah, trials and tribulations.
I keep threatening her with the taxidermist. It's not working, and it's part of the job. It's part that I actually enjoy it. It's quite fun. Because at the end of the day, they are a living animal. It's good for them to express themselves, go and enjoy themselves. I mean, she does some crazy things, being the species she is, it's just part of the job. So we got her back.
Nice.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I've had a good week.
Good.
I had to. I got sent a tripod to do a review on this week, and it's a little travel tripod.
Oh yeah.
And I'd had my other one for a couple of months, and a couple of years, sorry, and it'd been really good. And I was like, I quite fancy it. It was a Manfrotto one,
right?
And it was amazing. It was just everything just worked beautifully on it. It's you pay for quality, I suppose, in that sense. But my only gripe was the head was their bespoke head with their plate on. And I use an Swiss Arcus system on all my stuff, so I can just hop it from one to the other. And especially when I'm traveling, I don't want to have to connect a bloody plate. And I was a bit, so I had to re-record it a little bit because my preconceptions came out and it wasn't fair because not everyone just I was like, shit, I need to sort that. So I resorted it and I mentioned it in the video, and then I sent it off to them and said, right, this is live now. I hope you're happy with it, yada, yada. Because they don't get to see it or hear it before it goes out. It's just my views. And I'd mentioned this little gripe in it. And I went, but I found out that you do an Arca Swiss head, which could fit onto that. And it was about as much as the bloody tripod, this Arca Swiss head. And I was like, if you've got one floating around, you fancy sending it over, that'd be amazing. And they replied back within minutes going, yeah, sure, no problems. We'll send that over to you. That's fine. By the way, we've updated the tripod and there's a new version out with the Arca Swiss on. Why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
It's just like, so now I was just going to update the stuff on it. But I was like, result, because it's such a beautiful little tripod. because I have the grips, the small rig grips that go onto my cameras and everything, but they've got the Arca Swiss built into them, so I don't have to put the plate on. It's so nice. And it's
what's the sort of weight it can carry?
Up to that travel one's 9 kilogram.
Oh, it's a fair amount then.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, it's so beautifully made. And I was just like, oh, this is my new favorite tripod.
I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
Because for my, when I'm carting all this stuff about, you can get away with quite a. You don't have to have a massive tripod, believe it or not, when you shoot in large format, and it does help with the costs of travel, shall we say, when getting on air.
I mean, you can hang your bag and everything off it to weight it down even more if you need to. So
I'll have a look at that.
That's the way I look at it. But yeah, I like to travel light a little bit, and this I was so impressed by this, and it was just bugger.
I like Manfrotto kit.
Yeah, I do, but I just they're not so bad now, obviously, but they always used to have real quirks. Like they've got their own plate system, and I've got the big tripods, which have got a really hefty plate on, and that's great for my commercial work because it's so goddamn solid, and it's so the architectural head and everything. But when you get to the other stuff, but their stuff's really good, and they've got like safety features in, so you can't just drop it, and anyway. But you get what you pay for, don't you, in this world?
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Hey ho. Anything else that's been happening this week?
No, I've just booked another flight booked 2 flights going back to Poland and I'm going to Switzerland in November, and that's about it really. So
wow, nice.
Yeah, just work really. Just work,
just work.
I was in Harlech. For anyone who doesn't know where Harlech is, it's a beautiful part of Wales. I know I moan about Wales a lot from an environmental perspective, but Harlech was stunning. Highly recommend it. Very, very nice place. I did some work up there for a couple of days.
You're up at let me just go and find it. Larne Castle or something this weekend, aren't you?
In a week's time, I'm over near Pembrokeshire. It's in Carmarthen, Dylan Thomas country.
Yeah. So that's the 31st, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was debating popping down and seeing you, but then my electrician's just said he can come and do some work, and I'm like, I've been after you for so many fucking months.
Well, just let him do the work and come down anyway.
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought I'll take the wife down and we'd have a weekend away somewhere, and I'll come down and pester you, and she can go off shopping and
do shopping in Larne. I don't think they've got any shops in Larne. It's very
you know what I mean. She goes like the little villages and look and browses and stuff like. She likes.
No, he's very quaint, very eccentric, and as I say, Dylan Thomas Boathouse. For those of you who don't know who Dylan Thomas is, he was a famous writer. Very, very interesting place. Quite comical. The locals are quite funny, shall we say? Little stories I hear from my friends who live there and stuff like that. But
okay. So I'm still debating that. I'm going to have a debate today and decide what I do. And I'll give you a shout and we'll come down. But I want to go and just do some photographs, and I need to get out more.
Nice bit of coastline down there.
Yeah, and I thought it was a good excuse to.
It's a good excuse.
Yeah. Come and see you is a good excuse to get out.
Here we are.
Right, let's get on with it, mate. Let's go and introduce Nick now. So,
welcome everybody to another episode of The Dirty Negative, and on this episode we've got the amazing Nick Carver. Let's give Nick a round of applause.
Thank you. Oh, go on.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we've got to keep it going. We'll put some fake applause in afterwards and everything.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Anyway, Nick, how are you, mate?
I'm great. Great.
Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I was telling Terry, obviously, about how I haven't bumped into you, obviously, until now, but you know, you're entertain. I find you very entertaining. I think you are educational, but I like the way that you come across. It's very refreshing. I think we need more people like you and me and Terry, of course. You know, but no, it's refreshing. Yeah. And obviously, you know, when I sent you a message about a year and a half ago, I think it was, and I said, is it Roy Liotta?
Yeah, Ray Liotta.
Yeah, and I
said, Ray Liotta. Sorry, Ray Liotta.
Ray, yeah, and I was like, you remind me of Ray Liotta from the Goodfellas, and you make me laugh. And obviously, we had a bit of backwards and forwards with the Joe Pesci stuff.
Yeah, entertain you like I'm a clown.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It was entertaining. Yeah. So thanks for coming on. Everything been good? You been all right?
Yeah, it's been a very busy couple of weeks. The architectural photography finally picked back up. Yeah, it's been a weird year with the commercial architectural photography business, and it's kind of feast or famine. It's nothing for weeks, and then it's everything for a couple of weeks, and I'm at the tail end of an everything for a couple of weeks. Actually, I don't know if it's tail end. It might be in the middle. We'll find out. But
okay, very
good. I've been busy.
That was actually one of my questions I was going to ask you, because when you look at all your stuff that you do, obviously you're pushing all the film and everything else, and you know, the diners and the valleys and everything else that you've got there, and then you've got to really dig to find your commercial work in terms of selling that and everything else. So you really don't show off the bill paying photography that you do in that. So how does that work?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's a very like almost secret part of my life that a lot of the YouTube guys don't. And people ask me like, can you show us more of that? But I just have no desire to bring any video camera equipment with me while I'm trying to shoot for a client. They're generally very compressed photo shoots. Like, I always say I like to call myself an architectural photographer because it sounds a lot better than real estate photographer. But when you get down to it, that's what I am. It's just commercial properties, and that for some reason makes me feel a little better about it, because they're very, very large buildings, sometimes very beautiful, great architectural pieces, and I try and shoot them like an architectural photographer. But it's ultimately real estate, and real estate wants 1,000 pictures. And they want them yesterday. So I'm often hustling quite a bit on these shoots, and I don't get to put as much time into each individual shot. So the thought of like bringing the YouTube side of my life into that just sounds horrendous to me. So I generally don't do it.
I can understand that, and it's also
the depression is oozing out of you, Nick. So don't do it. Do you know what I mean?
But that type of work,
if you are an architectural photographer and you are watching this, there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yes.
That type of work, are you just getting it because you're known for that in the area, for doing it for so many years, and that's why you don't really publicize it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just it's its own revenue source, and it's self-sustaining. It's got its own thing going. I don't need to double dip with cool. YouTube on top of that. But the YouTube is basically a way to make money off of all the things that don't make any money. It's like film photography makes no money. Landscape photography makes no money. Photographing a shitty donut shop down the street makes no money. Unless I make a YouTube video about it. Then I can make a little bit of money. So it's a way to monetize something that otherwise makes no money. But the commercial photography side of my business is already making money. So like why double dip and make myself miserable? Also, if I'm completely honest, I'm not quite as proud of that work as the stuff I do share on YouTube. So and that's not because it's not good. It's just, it's for a particular type of client that needs a particular type of photo. I'm able to deliver that type of work to them. It's not the way I would shoot it if I had my own way about it. So I don't really have any, it's not that I'm not proud of the work, but it's not something I would be proud to share with another photographer. It's like, that's client work. I'm providing a service. That's what they need, and I provide it.
And obviously that must be digital based work.
Yeah, it's all digital, and I shoot with the unsexiest camera of all time. It's a Canon 5D Mark IV. So I'm using the DSLR Canon which nobody cares about, and I don't care about either. People like ask me, what camera are you using? I'm like, hold on, let me check. Like I have to look because it's not even means nothing to me. But it's a job, pays the bills, it's tools, it's all good, and I love it. I like the mix of having the YouTube side and the film photography side, and then having this commercial photography side of it. It's a good way to get some variety in the day.
It's sort of escape as well, isn't it? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I could complain about it until your ears are bleeding. I could, but I could also praise it until your ears are bleeding. Like there's things I really love about it. One of the weirdest ones is like just it forces me to be out at magic hour because the clients almost always want magic hour, and it's like, sure, I may be shooting a really hideous building, and I don't mean hideous like charming hideous, like a lot of my photos that I like to do. I just mean straight hideous. It's ugly. It's industrial. It's just a box. There's not that many angles on it. Boring as hell. But I'm out at magic hour when normally I would be having dinner or something. And just the fact it forces you out to that beautiful time of day is enough to make me feel like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's a cool job. A lot of people are stuck inside their entire work, and I get to be outside a lot of it. It just gets a little miserable when it's super hot during the day.
A lot of editing. A lot of editing, or is it quick? Is it pretty quick workflow edit wise?
The interior photos I outsource. I have someone else do the blending because I'm just too slow and I don't really know how to do it. Because you have to blend the window exposure with the interior exposure. Because I'm not. Again, it's real estate photography, so I'm not doing lighting and all that kind of stuff. It slows it down too much. So I'm doing bracketing and combining the exposure. So it's HDR, essentially, which I hate. I hate HDR. I hate the look of it, but I outsource it to someone who makes it look not HDR-y. They make it look a little more natural. The exteriors, I generally edit those, and I do it pretty quick now with Lightroom presets and Photoshop actions and stuff like that. Because if you shoot it right, if you shoot it under the right lighting, it's pretty easy to edit, pretty quick edit. Yeah. And I don't have to outsource too many of those. But
nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
But it's good to have that business side of it, and it allows you to concentrate on your passion side as well, which I also think's amazing to have as a photographer. And I think we're quite lucky as that in this genre, is that we quite often, the people who work in it still have a hobby in it as well, because they do something different. And I just think that's such an amazing thing to have. And even after all these, I've been doing it for 15 years now, I still got my hobby side, and I still love going out and doing it. And it's fantastic. So,
Yeah, and that's important. I think it's important to have some separation between it paying the bills and then also your passion, because if you don't, quickly the paying the bills part of it just kind of nukes the passion side of it, and you end up kind of hating it. So I like that there's real good separation for me. Like it's pretty clear cut when I'm working on photos that are for my passion projects versus photos that are for clients, and it's very easy to separate those and kind of not let one taint the other.
I wanted to ask you about your YouTube stuff, actually. So for everyone out there, you've got to go and check his YouTube channel out, because he's got his whole style sort of done. So there's a couple of things on that. One, did you know what style you were going to do when you set your YouTube channel up and the way you were going to do it? Or are you just naturally gifted that way? It just comes out like that.
I'm going to say neither, because I don't think I'm naturally gifted on much. But
that's a really polite way of saying it, wasn't it? I just take this all the time, and I do this.
But to answer your question, no, there was like no plan to it. When I started doing it, I kind of just did template YouTube stuff, how-tos, and here's the camera in my bag. This is what, let me show you my gear kind of. And then at some point I just kind of decided I don't want to do that. Like there's enough people doing that. So I've kind of slowly worked towards just making videos that I think are interesting, even if they may not have a super broad audience. And it's been generally slow growth, I think, compared to some channels. But, I don't watch photography channels, which some people sometimes think that's a little weird. But I don't watch it. I don't watch any. And I think that makes it so I don't get influenced by any, and so I don't start looking or acting like anybody else.
Nice.
Which I think is good, but yeah, it's I've been falling ass backwards into this YouTube thing for 11 years now. I still don't really know the trajectory I should be taking on it.
Which do you like more, YouTube or photography?
The
reason I asked that, but
do you mean like the commercial business side of my photography, or
no,
just
I mean
photography
the
in general?
personal side, because you are so relaxed and confident and natural when you present, and it's just like you're just chilling there and you're just talking and having a conversation, even though none of us are talking back. But you've got this going on, and the way you do it, it's almost like you love making the YouTube as much as you like going and doing the photography.
Yeah, I can. If my wife's going to listen to this, I can hear her laughing already. Because
what I liked about what you said a second ago was like you don't watch many YouTube. I don't either, believe it or not. I don't. But I watched 2 in America, and that's yourself, and obviously Ben, who we had on recently, Ben Horn. Ben, I just watch when I need to unwind, because Ben is just like, yeah, man. He's just like, and then when I just fancy a laugh, I'll watch your stuff because you just make me laugh. It's as if you're like taking the piss out of yourself behind the camera, but you also know that there's people in front. It's great stuff. It is great entertainment. And one of the ones that you just released where you was in Yosemite, someone down in the bottom in the comments said, when is someone going to give this guy some money so he can make a regular television show? Because people are entertained by it. And it's really quite funny. It's excellent how you put it together. And
well, thank you.
No, it just makes me laugh. And I just, you're a funny guy. You know, it's just good entertainment with the education behind it. But what I really like is the fact that it's which is really the next question. What made you choose film as your main medium when it came to that sort of work? Because it really comes out in the videos that you love your film.
Yeah, well, yeah, you guys are pumping me up a little too much, I think, but thank you. Yeah, the film stuff. In regards to the YouTube, I didn't think a film photography YouTube channel would succeed at all. Because when I started doing it, I've been doing YouTube for 11 years, and like when I started doing YouTube, a few things, it wasn't a thing. Like it was nothing that anyone aspired to. It wasn't like a job. There was no potential revenue stream. It wasn't a way to get famous. It wasn't. There weren't like influencers in that sense yet, and particularly in the photography world, like I saw Ben Horn's videos and I loved them, and that was a big inspiration for why I started doing it. But I didn't view it as like, oh, that'd be a good like business venture. That'd be a good way to kind of get my name out there and everything. It seems so niche and so small that it's not going to appeal to that many people. So when I started kind of doing the film photography angle on YouTube, I assumed that would narrow my my audience immensely. I thought like, oh, this is the worst way to start a YouTube channel is to focus on film photography, particularly large format, because like nobody's into that. There's very, very small audience. But ironically, that's the only reason my channel has really succeeded. I think if I was just doing digital stuff with a Sony, A7R3 or whatever, I don't know that my voice would have ever been heard because it's not unique enough. There's too many people doing it, and I would get lost amongst the shuffle. But the fact I'm using kind of weird cameras, and I wear weird shirts, and I wear weird hats and stuff like that, like all these things that kind of made me, that I thought would narrow my audience, I think has made me stand out a little bit, because at least I'm recognizable, as like, oh, he's the one that uses that weird panoramic camera that looks like it's from the 1800s. Like, I may not be into that, but it's different, so I'll watch. So I'm glad I took the film photography angle, but at the time when I was starting all this thing, I thought it was going to be the nail in the coffin for me.
Interesting. It's nice how things work out that way, aren't they? If you're doing it for the right reasons when you're creating it, it's something you believe in, it's a passion you want to follow as opposed to the mainstream.
Yeah, and yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, it's as long as you're passionate about it, that's much more important than anything else. And I'm just not passionate about digital cameras. It's not that I don't like them or anything like that. I view them as tools and I need them and for my job and everything, but I don't get the excitement about it. And so I think if I tried to gear my channel to have a wider audience of like camera reviews and talking about megapixels and Lightroom tips and all that kind of stuff, like I was doing in the beginning, I just run out of steam because I just don't care about it that much. And then that comes through in the video. But I really like shooting film. I love it. I love the large format cameras. I love using them. So I think that comes through even if like the viewer is not necessarily into the same stuff.
I think it's the end result though as well. It's the fact that you're using film, and a lot of these people now coming up are digital only, never use film and don't appreciate that side of it. But when they see the stuff that you create with it, they're like, bloody hell. And I think it's a shock thing, because actually some of that stuff, especially the panoramic stuff, I mean, they probably don't get to see it in print, which is a shame really, because once you see it in print, you're like, there's no way I'd have got that in digital. It just wouldn't happen. It's a different thing. But the quality, I think, takes over from that. So the medium that you're using, I think, is slightly irrelevant. It's nice and it's quirky that we've got that, but the end result that you get from that is just phenomenal. And I think that's the difference with film. I don't shoot film. I used to years ago, but I don't shoot film now. I'm digital only, whereas Lewis is film only, and that's it, and spits down at my feet and everything else when we're photographing. Like bringing that out here.
It's just boring as hell, isn't it? You know, it's lifeless.
Yeah. Well, the resurgence of film, I saw an interesting kind of evolution with the resurgence of film, because when I started doing the YouTube channel, film hadn't really fully exploded yet. You know, it hadn't received that full renaissance. So I think a lot of people got into it because the results of film, you know, and like how the look and the cinematic look and all that stuff everyone's chasing and all that. I think that's died down a little bit to where people kind of acknowledge, you know, you can get really great looking pictures, film or digital. And you know, you can even mimic film a lot on digital. I'm very open to admit that. I don't think I'm creating anything particularly unique in terms of look that couldn't also be done on digital. But I think the film, after that kind of initial like excitement about, oh, it looks so different, and yeah, the film look, and everyone pontificating about like, you know, all that stuff, once that kind of died down a little bit, I think people have started to appreciate more. It's more about the process. It's more about the act of using film. It's not even so much the results these days. And the reason anyone would shoot film now, I think, has much less to do with how it looks and the end result as it is the shooting process. And I know that is the case for me. I just do really well not having a screen to review my results. It works better with the way my creative mind works. I like the little bit of foreplay of having to wait to see the film and to see the results. I like the process of scanning it and kind of tweaking color balance and all that kind of stuff. And that process of how the workflow goes is much more important to me now than the actual look of it. But I think that's a nice thing that the film photography community is kind of moving towards, where, you know, even if sure, digital cameras have higher resolution than 35 millimeters, so you're not really doing it for the resolution. You can mimic these looks of Kodak Portra with digital, but people are still shooting film. And I think it's because of the process, and they like the disconnection, you know, from not having such a computer digital thing in front of them. It's refreshing when you've been looking at your phone all day, and now you get to use a mechanical camera. So I think the process has become very important to people, and I'm glad to see that.
Do you do your own developing, or do you send that away? Do you have to wait like 2 weeks for yours to come back before you can scan them in? And
no, luckily I have a lab local to me.
That's good.
Yeah, they're actually basically walking distance. Called Rewind Film Lab. I like them a lot.
I'd love something like that.
What's that?
I'd love a lab. I could just. I lost the box film in the post.
Very lucky. Oh, see that terrifies me. And like, I still have to send my 4x5 off to someone else because they only do roll film. So I have to mail out my 4x5 film. And yes, I have that anxiety of like, first off, is this going to be sitting in a hot truck for extended periods? Are they going to lose it? Is it going to be like a random inspection? They open the box or something, like all those stresses. But I've decided I'm going to start doing C41 developing on my 4x5 at home because it's just so damn expensive. By the time you factor in shipping there and back, I was paying like $8 a frame of 4x5 just for developing. And so I'm going to get the Cinestill kit to do C41 at home and start doing the 4x5 myself. But I'm still going to take the roll film to my local lab because they usually turn it around same day. It's crazy. Yeah, they're like the old 30-minute photo labs. I'll drop it off and like I'm on my way home and I get the text that your film's ready. So luckily I don't have too much of a delay. But
that's pretty
the 4x5 is still tricky.
Yeah, it's good. And I've got that, by the way, it's not all doom and gloom because it took me 4 weeks, but I found where they lost my film and I got it back.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there were 3 keepers in that, which...
That's good.
Anyway, it was an awful experience and, yeah. But
sounds like you maybe have a better postal service over there than we do. I feel like once something goes lost here, it's like... Don't even bother. There's no one to call. There's no one to talk to. Don't bother.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely start developing. I tell you, if it was like that, I don't like not having the control. I'd find that really difficult.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
You got to have the space, though, haven't you? It's just another
thing.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
There's so many reasons to not shoot film. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like. Hold on, Big Ben's chiming over there. So.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Like there are so many reasons to not shoot film. Whenever someone asks, like, why do you shoot film? I almost just say, if I have to explain it, you wouldn't understand.
No,
it's just the process. You look at cost, you look at the hassle of traveling with film, you look at the hassle of having to get it scanned and all that stuff. It seems ridiculous. Like. I can see why people I occasionally get shitty comments on my channel. I don't read comments, but occasionally I'll see one and it's like, why don't you just use a digital camera? You're scanning it anyway. And it's like, I don't know. You got a point. I don't know how to respond to that. I just want to shoot.
You've got to enjoy the process, haven't you? It's like I prefer to get it right in camera rather than spend 5 hours behind my computer trying to do it.
Yeah.
I'll spend a max of 10 minutes max editing a photo.
Yeah,
because it's out there that I enjoy, and it's the same with film. It's the process of doing it. You enjoy that, so
yeah. I see it as really no different artistic medium. It'd be like going up to a sculptor and being like, "Why don't you paint?"
Yeah,
it's easier. Yeah. Or why don't you do watercolors if you're an oil painter? It's like it's easier.
Yeah.
It's like that's just the medium I chose. It's
the
one I do well with. I don't know what to say.
I think I used to get that years ago with the purists that were going, "Oh, you're editing your photos and everything else in digital, and it's all this." I went, hold on a minute, you did dodging and burning, you did all sorts of stuff in the darkroom.
Yeah,
but it's no difference. It's called Lightroom because it's on a computer.
Yeah,
admittedly, it's got more advanced now, but it's a similar sort of thing, really.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy Spain, by the way?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I had a very sheltered view of it, I will say, because I was hired to go there, so I had a driver and a translator and everything, so it was very easy to get around, and they handle the hotels. I sometimes wonder if I had to deal with the hassle of travel, if it might remove some of the sheen from it. But in terms of a straight country, man, the food was great. I had some of the best food I ever had there. The scenery's gorgeous. Everyone was nice and laid back and accommodating, and it's just very different than the United States in terms of how people are and how they treat their land. By the way, I mean, like there's just so much graffiti out here, and it was kind of weird going to the desert in Spain because it was so clean. Like it was just not trashed. Our deserts are trashed, and it's partly because we have so much of it. People just take portions of it, and it's like, screw this portion. We got a million other square miles of it. But people here, they go out to shoot, they go out to camp and all this kind of stuff, and it just leaves a lot of detritus, and it gets a little messy. So it's just kind of it was weird to go through the desert there, and it's just like pristine, and it's like it's smaller, but it's just like clean, and people seem to take better care of it.
It is a good country. It's culturally rich.
Yeah.
And it is an interesting place to go and do something. Did you get that gig via YouTube, or how did you end up? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's all through YouTube. So YouTube is just one of those things where I love doing it, but I largely keep doing it because it just leads to crazy things I never could have predicted. I mean, like this podcast. Like this. Yeah, like the best podcast in the world, The Dirty Negative. I get excited. I get invited to it. I mean, never would have had that opportunity otherwise. Yeah. It leads to so many things. It's such a cool way to connect with people.
Nice. I want to just go back to your work for a minute. Your personal work, not your paid work sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Do you work on a project basis, or do you have a series of things and you just add to it as and when the mood takes you?
I always have multiple projects going. And I've found that works really well for me because I just can't go out and like, oh, I'm going to go take pictures today. Mm-hmm. Like that doesn't really work for me. I need to have more of a direction and kind of a framework. So I usually have multiple projects going at one time. And then if I find something that would fit into one of those projects, I get really excited about it. And then that's something for me to work towards. So it works well for me. I'm a pretty big advocate of that too. I think it's good to have kind of a long-term photography project to work on, and to kind of steer your work to something more niche, more specific. Like when I started out, I was just a general landscape photographer. So it's like, oh, if there's a beautiful sunset, I'm going to run down to the beach and get a picture of the beautiful sunset. And it's like a year later, I just have 1,000 pictures of colorful sunsets with a rock in the foreground. And it's like, I don't know how many of those you need, buddy. Like you're not really doing anything new when you go out. You're just kind of repeating yourself. And that led to definite burnout on my part because it's not really like developing any sort of look. But now if I have something pretty specific, like right now I'm actually working on a project pretty consistently where I'm trying to take pictures on just a single road that's near my house. Okay. And so the picture is only acceptable if it's on this road, if it's a shopping center on this road or a building on this road. And I started that project maybe 2 months ago or something like that. I cannot believe the wealth of photos that are there that I just was overlooking every day. Because this road is walking distance from my house. I walk past it all the time. And I didn't really think much of it until I started this project. And now I'm like eager every night to go out and find a new picture on this road. And every time I go out to take the picture I scouted last time, I see a new picture I want to take next time. And so I think having this like steered project, steering my attention, it opens my eyes to other things in that area that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. It's really, really good way for me to stay motivated and find new pictures.
It's amazing, isn't it? I did a project for a tourist board here, a local tourist board. And I normally would drive 2 hours to go and do some landscape somewhere. Never went on my doorstep ever because I just thought, there's nothing here. Yeah. And they were like, it's got to be the local area and you've got a year to do this project. So we want something for each month of the year and everything else. And then I started looking around. They gave me some little areas that they'd got sort of secluded away. And by the end of the 12 months, I was amazed with what was on my doorstep. And it's like, you know what? I don't really need to go there. It's just all here, which is fantastic. It is nice to be able to see that.
That was advice I would hear all the time as a younger photographer, and I'd always just kind of roll my eyes at it. Like Annie Leibovitz has a famous quote where she says something along the lines of, the worst thing a young photographer can do is leave home. And I was always kind of like, yeah, okay, if you're into photographing people, I guess, but I'm into landscapes. So I need to go to Yosemite and Yellowstone, and I need to go to Iceland and all this kind of stuff. It took me like years to finally understand that, of like, it's not just, you know, if you're into those types of things, you're going to find a lot of pictures you didn't notice. It's like you have a connection to your home that you take for granted. You don't think it's anything special, but it is. And if you let yourself kind of see the beauty around you that you're taking for granted, and you make an effort to share that with the world, other people are going to pick up on that. And like, you know, I grew up in Orange County. Nothing is more boring growing up than Orange County. I wanted nothing more than to leave. I wanted to see everything else in the world except where I was growing up. And I thought it was just so mundane and boring. And then now that I'm 37, I'm like, I could photograph Orange County the rest of my life and never run out of material. Like, because I finally learned the beauty that's here, or I don't even want to say beauty, the interesting stuff that's here. And now I'm photographing it, and it keeps me endlessly motivated. Like I don't feel much urge to go anywhere. I actually had a weird situation where someone reached out to me who runs photography workshops, and he wanted to hire me to lead a photography workshop. Paid pretty good. He handled all the logistics, getting people signed up, hotels, big one, insurance and licensing, all the stuff I don't want to do. And he basically came to me with like this dream proposal, which is, anywhere you want to go in the world, I will organize a workshop for you. I will pay you this amount, and we will do it. And I ran into this dilemma where I ultimately turned it down, because I'm like, I can't think of anywhere that I really want to go that badly. Like, I just want to take pictures around here. I just want to take pictures within driving distance. I have no desire to do it. And like, I have a photographer friend that really wants to go to Iceland, and I feel so bad when I'm like, I don't really want to go there, man. I'll go to like freaking Wyoming, but not Yellowstone. I'll go to some crappy town in Wyoming. I'll go to some crappy town in New Mexico and photograph Dollar General stores all day.
Why don't people go to Idaho?
Exactly. Like, I would much rather do something like that. And it's kind of weird because,
but that's part of the journey, isn't it? I mean, you've been there, you've had to work that out yourself. We always get this. I think when we're growing up, our parents say things to us, and until you've experienced it, and I see it with my kids, you tell them something, they don't bloody listen. Then they go and bugger it up, and they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. But you have to do it to realize that what someone else said was the right thing, to be fair. And I think that's the same with photography. You know, we hear so many people telling us, oh yeah, you should do this, you do that. Yeah, whatever. But until you live it yourself, you don't know.
One of the most upsetting things my parents used to tell me when I was growing up is, I know you better than you know yourself. And I would get so mad. Like, you really don't. I'm an individual. And it's like, but looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, they did. They knew that wasn't going to be a good move for me. That was going to be a good move for me. Now, don't get me wrong. They were wrong on plenty of stuff, but they definitely, like, before your brain is fully formed, you think you know everything and you don't know anything. And I would get the same thing with photographers. I would see photographers like saying, well, if you try and pursue that as a living, you're not going to make any money. And I would get so mad. I'm like, no, I'll show you. And then I try it, and I can't make any money doing it. It's like, they told me. I just didn't want to hear it.
You saying that, right. Is there a direction you wish you could have took in your photography, but you didn't because you either didn't have the money or skill when you first started out?
I am so glad I wasn't able to take the direction that I wanted to take. Truly. Like, the direction I wanted to take, I wanted to be National Geographic photographer traveling the world and like, photographing all the stuff National Geographic photographers shoot. Because I had this romantic idea of what that was. And I'm so glad it didn't work out. I couldn't make it work. And thank God for that, because I would have been miserable if I could. I don't like traveling that much. I don't like being away from home that much. This is something my parents probably told me at some point, or could have. You know, when I know you better than you know yourself. It's like you get homesick, buddy. You're gonna be gone 300 days a year. I don't think that's gonna work for you. But I just had it mocked up in my head so much that that's what I wanted to be, and I'm glad it didn't work out, because I would have burned out and I would have been sad and miserable and everything. But I ended up, I fell ass backwards into photographing commercial buildings and doing YouTube. And it's perfect for my personality. It's perfect. I don't have to travel that far. I get to come home at the end of the day. I generally like shooting buildings. I had no idea I did when I started, but I actually love shooting buildings quite a bit more than shooting landscapes these days. I feel like there's more for me to do with it. So yeah, it all worked out for the best. It's almost like it couldn't have gone any other way, and I'm kind of glad it didn't.
Nice.
Yeah. It is nice.
Yeah.
But then, having said that, one of the things that's happened to me is that I was very similar. I'm 40. How old am I now? 46. Yeah, I'm 46.
At some point in life, you stop remembering your age.
Well, no, you try to, and this was only last week. By the way, I share my birthday with Robert De Niro. I didn't know that either. But,
that's something.
But as I've got older, I'm now finding that I'm actually travelling more than I was years ago. But now I'm enjoying it more because it has a direction. Yeah. And I think what's really important is as I have got older in the photography side of my life, the directions come in. Whereas back in the day, it was just just go and shoot everything willy-nilly, or I need to be in this agency and I want to be doing this, that and the other. And it's a load of garbage. And that's why I sold my digital gear, because I didn't enjoy it anyway. And whereas this is wonderful. It's wonderful. It's good for the mind and the soul. And you're actually shooting for a reason, because it costs more, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't want to waste it.
That's one of the best things about getting older, is you just start to let go and just kind of like, you're not, just let it happen. It's going to happen however it happens, and then you try and make the most of it. But
then the arthritis starts kicking in. And
that's your payment. That's your tax. All this wisdom is you also have to experience some pain.
We won't go into the other things after the arthritis. Anyway.
Really appealing to the younger audience with this podcast.
Well, listen to your elders.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. We made the mistakes for you. You don't need to make them.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest. I think I'm still making them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Still making them.
Yeah. I don't put the film in the wrong way around anymore.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Oh, that's a bonus.
It's a great one.
Yeah. Saves a lot of money.
Well, I hope... Go on, Terry. Go on.
I was just going to say, you know about the film the wrong way. When I was a kid, we were traveling around America, and there was this big Coca-Cola rig. And it was brand spanking new. It was immaculate and everything else. And I was like, I went up and he chucked me on top of this cab so I could have my photo on it and everything else next to it. So my old man takes the photo. It's one of these instant sort of Kodak things at the time, past the Polaroid, the little instant things with 110 filming. And he had it the wrong way around. I had like 10 pictures of his bloody eye. I had this huge rig that was just magnificent, and he took pictures of his eye. I was just like, no, you can't do that.
I don't know if that's worse than what you would have today, which is like 1,000 iPhone pictures where you have so many, they all just start to mean nothing.
Yeah, there is
you
that.
Never look at them.
The world is... it's getting boring, isn't it? All of this. I moan too much. I've been moaning all day at work.
Yeah, don't start him off.
Yeah.
I will say on that note, though, that is a challenge with photography these days.
Absolutely.
It's been seen. It's all been done. So how can you possibly, make your voice heard? It's very challenging now.
Yeah, there's a little caveat to that. For years, there was always this poppy field down by us, and I was like, I'm not going to take it because every bugger goes and takes that field. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then they stopped putting poppies in the field. The farmer or whoever owned it was ploughing it and doing other stuff. And he said, I'm fed up of the tourists around here coming and everything else. And I was like, I wish I'd have took the poppies in that field.
Yeah.
Just for me as a thing, because it's something I wanted to do, but I just didn't want to copy everyone else. But I never got the shot for me. I had to go and do a different field in the end. But it was just, so I think you've got to be able to have something, even if other people are doing it, for yourself, as long as it's for you and you want to do it. I think that's fine to go and do stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the latest video I posted, I went to Yosemite, and one of the things I talked about in the video is it was very difficult for me to get excited about it at first for photography, not for going. I was really excited to go, but for photography, because it's all been done so much. Like, how am I going to create an original photo here? But there's a few things I try and keep in mind whenever I'm going out to take pictures, like valid reasons to take pictures. One is if I feel that photo has really never been done before. Like, that's a driver for a lot of the photos I take in Orange County, because I don't feel like there's many people doing kind of, I guess what I would consider artsy shots of the local donut shop. So, I feel like I'm creating something truly original there. So that's a good motivator that keeps me excited about it. But I'll also do it if the act of taking the picture makes me happy, even if I think the photo is going to be unoriginal or I might end up throwing it away. And that's what was driving me in Yosemite is like, I'm probably never going to do anything with these photos. They're not going to be portfolio pieces. I'm not going to like sell a bunch of prints of this, but I love using my camera. I love taking pictures. I love being in Yosemite. So why not take pictures? Like, I'm doing all the things I love doing. So just go ahead and do it. And then if the picture is a throwaway, who cares? You had fun at least.
That's it.
So
enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Take it. Yeah, nice. Brilliant.
It looked busy there.
Yosemite, I appreciate. Oh, go on.
No, it looked really busy in the video. I remember going to Yosemite in '97, and it was busy then. But like when you see just the hundreds and hundreds of people just standing there, and all you can hear is cameras going.
Yeah, they implemented a reservation system not that long ago. So if you go during peak season, you have to reserve a spot, which is kind of crazy. Christ. Yeah, that stuff makes me a little depressed sometimes, that I feel like these areas that are supposed to be for everybody, they've gotten so crowded that they just have to tone it down, and I don't blame them. I mean, the Park Service is doing what they have to do. They're trying to make it as accessible as possible, but man, you get like a 5-mile long line at the entrance to Zion. It's like, what are you supposed to do? You got to dial it back. It's like, that's too many people coming in. But at the same time, it's a little depressing because you can't just like pick up and, hey, let's go to Yosemite today. It's like, well, did you get your reservation? You got to go on recreation.gov 5 days ahead, and then you enter a lottery, and then hopefully they give you one. It's like, oh, Jesus. Depressing.
See, 97, I drove straight in. 97 Zion, straight in.
That's so crazy.
It's a different world. It is. When I see videos like that, I think, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zion, a 5-mile queue to get into Zion, that's bonkers. I wouldn't even get on a plane to even go there,
Yeah.
It's a shame. Iceland's the same mind, I imagine. Cars everywhere. It's like a fashion statement, Iceland. But I'd never go there.
I'll be there. Anyway, look, we're, appreciate we're taking up your time. Got a couple of quick fire questions, which are totally nothing to do with photography at all. So, So we thought we chuck these in at the end just to throw everyone off the game.
Okay.
So, cats or dogs?
Growing up, cats. Now, dogs. 100%. I still love cats, though. I'm a bit of a cat whisperer. If there's a cat, like a shop cat, you go somewhere and sometimes there's a cat just roaming around. They come up to me, man. They love me. I speak cat. I know how to interact with them.
Yeah. What's your favorite film?
Favorite film? Oh, man. Interstellar might be. There Will Be Blood might be. I'm going to put those two towards the top, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I thought you was going to say something like Chopper, or have you not watched Chopper?
No, what's that?
Oh, you must go and watch it.
Okay.
You must go and watch it. It's a great film, and you'll email me back and go, that was absolutely quality.
I'll put it on the list.
I'm not convinced we're going to go up in the ratings for film recommendations.
Yeah.
You might.
Favorite comedian?
Probably Bill Burr.
Okay.
I've not heard Bill Burr.
Oh, you're missing out.
Oh, I'm going to have to look that up now. That's my evening gone.
Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, I like Jim Jeffries. Yeah, he's good. There's a lot of good comedians now, man.
Yeah,
there's like no shortage of great comedy. It's a good time to follow it.
Yeah, they can get out there easy. I think that's a good thing onto that.
Yeah.
Favorite cookie?
Macadamia, white chocolate macadamia.
Ah,
yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers with that one.
What's a macadamia? Sounds like a make of a dog or something. A macadamia.
You don't know what a
macadamia is?
I don't know what a macadamia is.
It's like a it's a type of nut. It's
that's why I haven't heard of it. I've got a nut allergy.
All right, you got an excuse.
So it's a biscuit around
not just being exceedingly British.
No. No. No, I seriously can't. So it's a biscuit around a nut.
You spoke so much British there. I can't biscuit. No, you call cookies biscuits over there, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. It's like a crisp, but not quite. I'm just kidding. It's a biscuit. I love white chocolate. It's got white chocolate in it and macadamia nut. So yeah, it's good.
Very nice.
It'll kill you, but it's good.
It would kill me instantly. Yeah.
Yeah, don't try it.
Nick, thanks so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. And for
really
everyone
appreciate
out there, go and check Nick's YouTube channels and obviously his website. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
I'll carry on watching it. It's great stuff. And yeah, you're a funny guy.
Funny? Like I amuse you? Like I'm a clown?
I think he means entertaining rather than
he's a funny man.
Yeah. That's obviously the Britishness coming across. That's not quite getting there. But you've got one of those channels that you just want to keep watching and
great.
You're entertained. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, well done. Really, really, really well done. Yeah. Superb.
Thanks, guys. You pumped me up. I feel ready to tackle the day.
Go on. That's it. Perfect. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Well, I told you it'd be good fun, Terry, didn't I?
Mate, absolutely superb. He's just, what a character in a really nice way. He's just, absolutely fantastic to talk to.
I know.
And
there are a lot of, look, I might upset people here, but there are a lot of square photographers, isn't there? It's nice to have someone with a bit of character, blah-de-blah, speaks his mind, takes the piss out of himself, enjoys life,
That sounds like you, mate.
Yeah, well, it's refreshing. So it was great to have him on.
It is, yeah. Seriously, everyone, you need to go and check out his YouTube and just be entertained for a little bit. And it's, you might not be in the film photography.
And be educated. There's a couple of blogs that he's done or videos that he's done on how he creates his own frames and stuff like that. He is an all-rounder. So, no, it was a great chat. Thanks for coming on, Nick. And take care in Los Angeles later.
That's just so scary, isn't it? It's just like, we think it's bad enough around here, but we're worried about, the sheep coming up behind you and scaring the crap out of you.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. You don't know who's hiding on the other side of the dry stone wall, do you?
Exactly. We don't exactly have to worry about carrying pepper spray and everything. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to spray the goats. No,
I tell you, they're pretty lethal.
Well, they can be if you're not looking the right way, I suppose. But no, it just gives you food for thought, really, doesn't it? About going out and going out to enjoy yourself and to do some work. But
you'll cut that fucking bit because I'm just coughing my guts.
Yeah, okay.
You shouldn't breathe and drink at the same time.
No, that's not a good idea. I lost my train of thought now, Terry.
Sauce, mate.
What should we do?
I'm waiting on you, mate. No.
Oh, really? But yeah, no, it makes you. It is food for thought. You know, when you're going out, you're wanting to do your work, but you've got to be careful at the same time because of where you are. So
I mean, I got to be honest. I do a bit of street photography, and there's certain places that I go, and the street photography is not. It's just a hobby side of photography for me. It's just something I enjoy. But there's certain places that I go, and I just like, you know, you've got to feel really confident and in the mood for doing it. And some place you go, yeah, I just don't feel it around here.
I love sticking my camera in people's face.
Yeah, I don't mind that, and it's great. But there's certain places I've been, it's just like just walking down the street with a camera. I just think, am I asking for trouble here? Because it's not quite. And I find that when I go walking around a city, I will go everywhere in that city. And some places you just, I'm not. I've been touch wood. It's been pretty good until now, but you just never quite know. And it's
I've had one instance. I remember one instance in London. That's it. That was probably 10 years ago, where I got a funny look, and I thought, oh dear, I'll just be careful, you know. But other than that, I've been quite lucky in that respect. The only I'll tell you what, the only problem I had out of doing any street photography, and this does make me chuckle inside. Luckily, well, I was highly commended in the International Travel Photographer of the Year award. And it was to do with a documentary on Brick Lane in London. So for those of you who know Brick Lane, it's a great place for street art and culture and everything else, you know. And this one piece of street art, it was incredible. I took a shot with someone walking through it, and the artist actually contacted me after the awards and gave me a right bollocking for taking a photograph of his painting. And I said, or his mural, or whatever you call it, you know. And I said, well, you should be inspired that you inspired me to want to take a picture of your artwork. Plus, I said I wouldn't mind, but your name is actually still on that mural, because I felt that I should put your name into the photograph so people could see who did the work. But yeah, that's the only ever grief I've had, actually.
You can't have that. It's a public place. I can understand. It's like you can go and photograph anything in public. You should know that as copyright, really.
Well, maybe I'll show you that picture maybe in the next podcast. We can just chuck that.
You know, that's something we should do. We should go and organise and go down to London and go and do some street photography and go around and maybe put it out there for people on here. So if they fancy coming and joining and meeting up and catching up as well, go and get some coffee, whatever.
I've got my dear friend Stuart runs a very well-known podcast called Inspiring City. And he talks to all of the artists while they're doing the murals and stuff like that. Stuart's a lovely guy. Yeah. I think he's back from Australia. I'm not sure if he's moved to Australia, because otherwise, if he has, we won't be talking to him. But no, his podcast Inspiring City is definitely worth looking at.
Nice. But yeah, I think we should go and do that. Go and do a street photography day or two.
Idea.
We'll invite everyone along. They can all catch up.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah,
the old 2 people will turn up. That's fine.
Yeah.
But no, it'd be a good laugh, actually. I think.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Just have a nice casual day walking around.
Do something different.
Yeah. I haven't been back down there for a couple of months now. I think it'd be good to get back down.
I've been down there for years.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I was in Battersea recently. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing what they've done down there. But
yeah, I haven't been there in years, to be fair. So,
no.
What you got planned for the rest of the week, mate? Anything exciting you wise?
Just editing some work, more research on the Holocaust project. Like a lot of research, really. Bit of bird flying with some customers. I've got a customer coming from Switzerland next week. Just general research and stuff like that, really. Yeah, what are you up to?
Good. I'm just trying to catch my tail. We're trying to get ready for expos and get stuff done. So we're finishing off books that we've wrote. We're finishing off expo stands and everything else. I'm just trying to get it all done so it's printed. next week, and it's so yeah, not a great deal for photography or anything for me next week or video, which is a shame. And then the week after, we're photographing toys. Yes,
what
we got a couple of days photographing toys.
Oh, that sounds so exciting!
It's great.
I'll send my children down then.
Yeah, well, in fact, we've arranged several children to come to the shoot and
have you?
Do stuff. Yeah, because they've got to play with the toys. They want lifestyle sort of shots as well. Yeah, no, we've they're having to build a couple of studios, one inside. So they took the warehouse and they're having walls built and rooms built for it and everything else. And then we've done one that's outside where we found a nice green area, but there's some walls there. So they're having all nice wood paneling put around those, some artificial grass put down and everything else so we can have it all done. So yeah, they've gone OTT on getting everything done for us. Yeah,
it's nice to see people investing, isn't it? And trying to do it right instead of bodging it. Yeah. And it makes life so much easier for us, doesn't it? For yourself,
I mean, to be fair, I recommended everything, and they're just building a new building. And he said, I want to build a studio in here. And I went, right, if you're going to build a studio, do this. And I gave him a list as we're talking on the thing. And he wrote it all down. He went, right, yeah, we're doing all that. That's fine. We'll do all that.
Good.
So we got coves built in. I'm almost like, can I come and use this studio? When it's done?
Yeah.
I know. I was really chuffed. Yeah. It was
good.
So yeah, that'll be good. But that's in a couple of weeks. So yeah, back to doing some photography for a living.
Yeah. I say I've just got some film on order, so I'm just waiting for that to turn up as well. So yeah, it'd be nice to get out and do a bit of work in the next month or so, hopefully.
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
Well,
look,
I hope
have a lovely weekend, Terry.
Yeah, you too, mate. We hope you've all enjoyed that at home.
Yeah, great fun.
Listen to this. And if you've got anyone you think we should interview, then drop it in the comments down below. It would be great to reach out to them and say, you know what? So-and-so recommended you.
Yeah.
Get them on. That's it. I think that's be a good idea. We've got a good few lined up still. And it's, it's been going really well so far.
It has been fun.
I'm impressed that people are saying yes.
Why? Well, why? We are absolutely amazing. Like, why wouldn't you want to come on and have a chat with us? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The Cockney King and and Terry.
I was waiting to hear what you said then. It wouldn't be clean, would it? No.
No, it has been fun. So looking forward to getting some more people on.
Brilliant.
Yeah. No, it's been good fun.
Excellent. We'll see you all next week.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everyone.
Have a nice evening. And
you too.
Ciao for now.
Ciao.